Hey, y'all, and happy Friday. This is, you already know, your girl, yes. But look, we're going to continue with Letecia Stauch Stepmom. I know a lot of y'all stepmamas out there, right? I know y'all stepmamas out there, right? Some good stepmamas out there, there's some wicked stepmamas out there, and then some stepmama don't even like your daddy. But look, we about to get into Letecia Stauch. This is her testimony. This is what she said happened. Now, for somebody to remember what they say a testified testimony. They know what they're talking about. I don't know, y'all. But let's check this out. Let's listen to this. Hold on, y'all.
Memory, perception, awareness. It can be seen in a few different ways. I mean, we talk about dissociative amnesia, so not integrating memory, forgetting that you've done things. We've talked about more normal components of disassociation that we just reference as absorption. So like when you're so absorbed in a task that you are not really aware of what's going on in your surroundings. But pathologically, there's amnesia, there's derealization, and then there's depersonalization. Derealization is more of a feeling detached from reality. Things seem more like a dream than they do actual life. Depersonalization is almost as though you are in your body observing yourself, but you don't feel integrated.
This is going to sound like I did this on purpose, but I didn't. But for instance, when I called you Dr. Gray, is that a form of disassociation?
I would not say that.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you then what it is, because I'm afraid of what the answer might be. The fact that she gives you this version of events, and we talked about how as she's given it to you, you may be reflecting back on the police reports and the discovery, thinking that it's not consistent. Do you remember talking about that?
Yes.
When she brings up this thing about going to church, kind of at the beginning of the interview, based on what she's telling you happened on January 26, 2020. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Are you familiar with that? There's police reports that indicate
objective dating facts that are not in it. Well, the question's not all the way done, so let's wait until we get to the end of the question.
Oh, come on.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the police reports in this case that talk about surveillance video in that neighborhood and monitoring 6627 Manning Drive during this entire time frame?
I'm aware of them, yes.
Do you recall reading them?
I likely read them, and I don't remember very specifically what those might have said.
But needless to say, there's reports that talk about movement from that house during a specific time frame. Do you recall reading that?
Yes.
And certainly, if she had gone to church that morning, we would see the vehicle leave on the video camera. Is that right?
Yes.
And you probably don't remember if you read that report or not, but do you remember reading anything about her leaving the morning of January 26, 2020?
I don't remember that.
Okay. The other issue is, are you familiar with reports with regards to her vehicle, the Tiguan, and the GPS data that was on that Tiguan?
Some of it.
If she took the Tiguan to church, would that be reflective in the GPS data?
I would assume that it would be, but I don't remember specifically reading that.
Well, what do you do as a forensic psychologist when someone's telling you something that you know is not consistent or is flat out not true?
Occasionally, we might specifically ask them about that particular point. As I noted, it depends on the relevancy to the question that we are trying to answer, which is what is her mental state at the time of the offense. So this could be an example where what was happening the day before was less relevant for us. As evaluators, we're not there as investigators. We're not there to fact find. We're not there to find out, is what she's telling us the truth or not? But we are paying attention to whether there are inconsistencies in self-report from one conversation to another, as well as in the other data that we have, because that speaks to issues of credibility.
Right.
Well, I'm assuming when she brings up about this Michael, the archangel, handing out business cards, and that's what caused her to go on the hike, that something may have been going on there. What was your take on her telling you that?
You know, that particular point, I did have a question about it, but ultimately I don't think that it comes down to very much. It doesn't seem to be an issue of psychosis or dissociation. If it is true that there was an individual there handing out cards, it was just another point in her day.
Okay. Do you recall her talking about the video? The court reporter needs to take a drink off. Wait. Okay. Do you recall her talking about a video that she made with regards to the burns on Gannon, how she video recorded everything?
Yes.
Is there any significance as to when the video stopped recording?
I don't know.
Do you recall the video?
I don't recall that video specifically.
If I told you, and this is to get what your opinion is of it, okay, is that the video stops after Gannon says, "I'm worried about my burns," and then she says, "Well, tomorrow," stops.
Just saying.
Is that any significance to you in your evaluation?
For the purpose of our evaluations, it just helps corroborate that there were burns on Gannon. I don't know about the severity of the burns, but it's interesting that he was worried about them. And then in terms of stopping it at tomorrow, I wouldn't know what to make of that.
Okay. She alludes to her stepfather several times during her narration here. What did you and Dr. Gray take from that?
The references to the stepfather, to me, sounds like she's trying to tell us that she was having flashbacks of her stepfather. At this point, I think we've established her self-report that she had an abusive childhood. So that is our take specifically whenever she mentions him, is that she's trying to make that point.
And does she refer back, as she mentions her stepfather, as to why she would text her boss at 4 a.m. or close to 4 a.m. that morning saying, "I'm not coming into work because my stepfather got killed by an auto accident"? What was your take on that?
I think it's curious that it happened at that early in the morning. When Ms. Stauch was talking to us, she told us that she doesn't remember specifically doing that, and that she knows that that happened because it's in discovery.
And that was going to be my next question. Did Ms. Stauch appear to refer to things that are in discovery as she's explaining her accounts?
Yes.
And in that particular moment, did it appear to you that she's trying to explain as to why she would say, "My stepfather just died, I can't come into work"?
It's possible. I would say that whole interview, the first time around, we had concerns that she was explaining evidence more so than trying to give us her version of what occurred, which is something that we tried to address the second time that we spoke to her.
and we're going to play that later, maybe this morning, maybe this afternoon. During the course of her interview, she repeatedly said, my team, my attorneys, we came up with this. What was your take on that?
Again, it was concerning for us as evaluators because we picked up on that language as well. As I noted earlier, we are trying to get a pure version of events from a defendant during sanity evaluations. So when she says things like, this is what we came up with, it does make me wonder a bit further what that means, because it does sound like, again, trying to explain the evidence that is available.
Is it consistent with how she did on the psychological testing that stated she was?
It would imply that at the time of the shooting,
came out.
And she says Lena actually helps carry Gannon after he's been shot up the stairs, the car, and the garage. Do you remember telling you that?
yes,
Did you review the interview that was conducted with Letecia Stauch with regards to this investigation?
I did.
Do you recall the last time she said she saw Gannon?
I don't recall the last time she said, but I don't think it's consistent with being present or carrying a body up the stairs.
If she would have said that in her interview, you think you would have remembered that, especially when Miss Stauch says it here?
Yes.
Body language.
Do you remember other interviews that Miss Stauch gave where she talks about Lena coming home from school and she had to do her laps and went to the mailbox and rode her bike and didn't come into the house?
Yes.
She goes into the fact that she tried to bring Gannon back to life. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Is there any significance to her saying that to you?
We considered that. So I'd say that it does have some significance. However, as it pertains to the issue of insanity, again, insanity is such a narrow focus. This is stuff that would have happened following the actual shooting. So it doesn't speak so much to the time of the offense as it pertains to the issue of a murder. In terms of the charges of tampering with a deceased human body, it has more weight on that. So it was interesting to us that she said that she took the body from one place to another and then even was hopeful to find this Mr. Womack to have some sort of resurrection.
Woo.
And do you recall Lena saying anything about that in the review of her interview about them driving around trying to bring him back to life in the car?
I don't remember her saying anything about that.
Do you remember reading any police reports or seeing any surveillance video of that happening?
No.
She also tells you that she got hit in the leg with a bullet. Do you recall her saying that?
Yes.
What was that all about?
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't follow up on that.
Had you read or seen any medical reports or anything that said she had been shot in the leg with a bullet?
No.
At some point, she says that Harley and Lena's faces are white, like they just seen a ghost. Do you remember her saying that?
Yes.
Would you expect Harley to recall that if that actually happened?
Yes.
Would you expect Lena to recall that if that actually
Possibly.
she was talking to you about Gannon talking to her and Lena as they're going up the stairs. Do you recall that line of questioning?
Yes.
She said that she was switching, or she was having different personalities at that point. Do you recall her saying that?
As they were going up the stairs?
Yes.
Vaguely.
Any relevance to that, to your opinion?
Maybe.
If the events occurred as Ms. Stauch has said that they did, to me, it would not surprise me that somebody might go into some sort of shock. And if she had a mental illness like a dissociative identity disorder, it wouldn't surprise me if that would cause some sort of a reaction or exacerbation of symptoms. And at the same time, it's unclear to me from Ms. Stauch's report who she was dissociating into, or what exactly was occurring, how much of it was her or one of the personalities that she shares worlds with, as well as when events occurred, when she looked at the body to find out it was Gannon's body, given some inconsistencies.
I'm going to use the word you used, if this happened. If she's switching personalities and going through this dissociated state, would a family member notice that right away?
I would think so.
Would Harley notice that right away?
I would think somebody would see something.
Mm-hmm.
Would her brother Dakota Lowry notice that right away?
Yeah.
He got it.
Yeah.
Potentially.
What about Al Stout when she picks him up at the airport hours later? Would he notice something like that?
Yes.
I would think so.
In fact, in the DSM-5, does it not state that family members would certainly notice something obviously strange with an individual who suffers from dissociative identity disorder?
I would think eventually, if it was a severe presentation of dissociative identity disorder, we've talked about how sometimes it's subtle and it's not readily visible to other people when somebody's switching from one state to another. But that being said, family members might notice a loss of, family members might notice that person reporting a loss of time or even seeming to forget things that happened in the day, potentially even forgetting who they are. It just depends on how the specific illness presents in that person.
Yeah, that's right.
She talked to you about not knowing how to shoot a gun. Do you remember her saying that to you?
Yes.
Was that consistent with what she told you earlier about how she took the gun away from Edgar and shot this intruder?
What?
It is somewhat inconsistent, and at the same time, I could see somebody saying that they don't know how to shoot a gun, but still being able to carry out that act.
Is it common for people who own guns not to know how to shoot them?
I would hope that people who own guns know how to shoot them.
Not really. Not really.
Do you remember saying that she memorized the autopsy was wrong, it was only one gunshot?
Yes.
You remember attributing the stab wounds to saying they weren't stab wounds, they were burn marks?
Yes.
What was your take on that, her inconsistency with what actually happened in the death of Gannon and stuff?
Again, it was noted that her self-report of the events didn't line up with the police reports or the other evidence available.
And did she ever mention to you anything about blunt force trauma to the head that was in the autopsy report?
No.
She goes into talking about
a new one. Look at the guy in the car, it's just big chipmunk. So that's why I have to wear that plus, you know, all the I'm pretty sure my mom has autism or whatever. Don't know what it is. We always wanted to sleep. So
sorry, going back to what I was asking before. No, it's okay. You said you have an audible conversation with Maria. You also said that there are people coming to see you. I assume doing sort of therapy with you.
yeah.
I'm associated with it, and that's how you talk to Maria.
No, it's been like it's been a couple weeks that we've been doing this, but they wanted to know why I felt that way about drugs. So, you know, when someone kind of gives you a certain small thing, like you start having those intrusive memories. Like you could not remember something, but then see something that like triggered that memory. And so as I was doing that, it triggered that memory, and that's how I could hear Maria have the conversation with her. So it was part of those that was doing.
And is Jamie methods with you now? Or whoever is my boss? All right. Well, I'm wondering, when you have an audible conversation with you, and are saying now, if you can tell Maria, you know, what she was thinking and what she was.
Eventually, if you bring it up like traumatic stuff, I can take myself into harmony, which in depth what any kind of abuse was like. It's very hard because that's the way you get it, like extremely so like the ground it feels like, and I've had to do that once in this process, and it's very difficult because, you know, for the other person having to hear it, I go back and read their word or what they typed or what I said in harmony. It's very disturbing. So yeah, so
I definitely don't want to take you back to your childhood. I'm just wondering about, you know, at the time, the alleged offense,
future
where, you know, for you, the memory gets fuzzy, right, between, you know, you're looking for getting, you're thinking someone's going to have you see the shadow, you're having kind of that repeated thought of Ecclesiastes 33, time to kill, time to heal. And then the next thing you sort of remember is being in the car. And on some level, it sounds like your perspective is an assumption Maria took over at that point in time. And that Maria is your protector. She comes up in these situations where there's a threat. So I'm wondering, you know,
can you talk to Maria through me is what you're asking? Yeah. Okay. I mean, you just said it that way.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You heard it a lot clearer than I did.
Yeah. How we got into work before was I had to just kind of put my mindset, like, I'm conditioned to hang out like that. So, like, I have to take my mind to hang out in those reliving it. You know what I mean? And then that's how I can do it.
I guess I'm wondering why Maria might have moved on.
I don't think you guys have any other stuff? Because like how we did it before, if we have like evidence, she said more like stuff. Do you have any of that? We're not to have these on things. Or trigger me like going into that thought process or to it's not really daydreaming, but we have to have something. Do that word here. And just be like, okay. Yeah. Any other questions about?
I'm still a little unclear
Me
about
too.
these gaps. You can't number is that?
I'm unclear too because I'm not understanding Tisha when she speaks. It seems like she somewhere else. I don't understand how they understand her. It don't seem like she here. It seems like she there. I don't understand how that lady can sit there and listen to her and understand her when I don't understand what she's saying. She just talking like she talking out her head. What y'all think after listening to this?
Usually when I can't remember or when there's a blur around me, like let's say I would be on a stage right now. You guys could be in here and I never even know you're in here. The round would not be the same.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. You don't know when you're going through something. You don't know when you're going through a mental change. You don't know it. Everybody else should pay attention to it. You don't know because you acting out and you don't know why you acting out. So come on, stop manipulating people. Y'all, ooh.
I'm so okay. We're playing from how it started. When I would get abused, basically abused by my stepdad.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. She's going to use her stepdad in this case. But Ganny is not her stepfather. Even if it happened to her, he's a boy. It's right now, Letecia is trying to play mental games. This is how they used to do a long time ago. But Tisha, this is new days, new times.
But then I didn't want Letecia. So if I went between my brain to go somewhere else, then it's harm me to be. So that way, if anyone, like when the counselors and stuff like that at school would ask, Letecia, have you been abused? I always say, like, no, we can harm the person that was abused. So, that's the word you were asking. That's why the gaps come into play, because I can take myself to the world. Like, when one of the worlds is Christina, and how Christina works is when I was younger, my mom used to leave me by myself, take care of the kids, and she would try to leave my stepdad with me. But then she'd leave us by herself with a slave, and I would be taking care of kids while she was on his house. So that's how Christina came along. She's a gymnast. Like, if I have a gap or I go somewhere, I go to when I was a child, I go to Christina because I was during the time of the Olympics, the 1996 Olympic Games. Everything in my house became like a gymnasium and apparatus. So everything around me was like that. Not like crazy stuff where people be like, oh, there's natives. It's just that the surroundings are like that, where you know, like, my body gets put in the surroundings. And that's how so that's why whenever there's a gap in it.
People, you won't know when your body, you don't know your body doing it. She don't know the mind part of her body, what it doing. She don't know. Everybody else should recognize. I know I just said this, but Tisha is right now trying to manipulate that lady sitting right there who listening, or that man who listening.
I make a mess of things if I deal with the trauma. Nothing straight. If I didn't do that, I couldn't have been a teacher. I couldn't have got my degree. I couldn't have done a lot of things because of how I had to deal with something. It goes on into my adulthood. It doesn't just stop in my childhood. It's just right there because of my conditions out there. Something else might be going on.
Let me tell y'all something. If Letecia Stauch would know she was going through what she going through, what about her daughter? If she were going through something mentally like that, she would have affected her daughter as being a female. But no, she trying to make an excuse that she did gambling like that. Now she wanted a daddy. No telling what he was saying. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section about the video y'all just heard. I just think that Tisha just does a lot of manipulation, and I hear it. I hear her doing it.
It's not like I'm just driving on the road and I'm like, oh, I'm over here. That would be dangerous. It's not like that. If something happens that causes me not to want to deal with it, then I can switch. But the thing about Maria is I cannot just switch her right now. It has to be in a form of protection, or it has to be in a form of like getting me out of it. So like the other day at the jail, I think the other day, I don't know. I ended up in a total sleep. I didn't know how I ended up in a total sleep, right? So I'm trying to let you see how that got there. I was being on the phone, giving her the dollar number, and I heard them say, hey, you have to leave the cell now because they're having some construction going on at the jail, right? So they took us out of our ward. So I won't go to the tower, so I was in segregation until the ward finished. So I remember hearing them say cell 9. Well, cell 9 is where I developed Janelle because so much trauma in segregation. That's where I developed Janelle.
Okay,
so,
was she's what Letecia trying to do now is manipulate the girls who's in the prison. If they weak, she can get them to do anything she want them to do in prison. Because she good at what she do. Y'all put it in the comment what y'all think.
Next thing I know, I ended up with SB. And SB was because I was an internal student and they said I was trying to hurt myself. So I kind of put it all together and I'm like, why was I trying to hurt myself?
Oh, yeah.
So what happened was the trigger from cell 9 brought back those memories of the fact that I was going to have to be able to survive in segregation right now, meaning, no book, no radio, no food, nothing.
Now she's saying, I'm going to act out because I don't have no food, no radio, no rubber. That's what she's doing. If you're not strong in the prison situation and everything, what's going on around her lawyers and stuff, she trying to get you to work way she want. Her mind wants you to work the way she wanted to work. So I'm gonna act this way since y'all not gonna give me this way. Listen to her. Y'all heard what I heard.
That's all that. Because there's no instruction that apparently I called my friend Amy, Maria. I called my friend and she was talking in another language. And during that time, they said that I went upstairs at my body, Maria, and the deputy gave me a play-by-play. Deputy Lee said that she was watching from another. She said that Maria looks this way, looks that way, and then tries to jump off. So you know how the jail, they have the rails, and there's like rails like this, tries to jump through the rails.
You see what I told y'all? See, I'm gonna tell you something. People like Letecia and Lori, they don't need to be in segregation. They don't need to be around people. They will have these girls in these prisons doing some mental things that they ain't got no business doing. It's no way in the world. That girl been there before Letecia got there. She ain't jumped through and tried to jump out the rail. Come on, y'all. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please. Tisha know what she doing. Tisha expert at this. She ain't just learn how to do this. She already know how to do this.
Once I was able to come later on and piece everything back together, Maria had called my friend. She was talking another language, and then she tried to rescue me.
She said that whoever that person is spoke another language. Lena, I thought she was talking about her daughter. Spoke another language. What language did she speak? Because see, you and her speak a different language anyway. So why did she change the language that she didn't want you to know what she was saying? Y'all better get with it.
How she tried to rescue me was she wasn't trying to kill me. She was trying to like bungee jump off. And in her mind, I was jumping off.
Trying to act like Elena, whoever that person is, got some mental issue. That's why they jumped off. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just so into this case.
And the one that ended up in the truck. So then I had to go through the whole protocol of why you want to hurt yourself.
This Letecia speaking. For those who didn't know, this is she speaking. You can tell when she speak. She all over the place with it.
So the deputy, when she came, Deputy Browder came to see is when I came back through. She said I was talking to her first, Maria, but then she was like, when I came back to myself as Letecia, she said, you were just Maria. And then I was like, why is my turtle too? But then once I got everything back together, so answering the question what you just said, that's how it works. So the only way I'm left to piece stuff back together is like the evidence stuff before, like, okay, well, this has got to be clearly you on the camera, and I see myself. Okay, yeah, that's clearly me on the camera. Looking at it, like that's me. Fair, you know. That's kind of how I hope you understand. I say about the gap, okay. It's not like I'm just like, hey, I don't remember. It's I'm not there.
So, like when you find yourself in Orlando, who gets you there?
Well, I found out through this, is that fire?
And y'all notice something about like Letecia. She won't answer the question. She goes around the question that you ask her. She'll take the question that you ask her, and she'll change it to manipulate you to say what you ask her. She should have just answered his question. She did not answer the dude's question. She thinks she's smart.
Okay.
Uh, where was I? Okay, yeah, so you find yourself in Orlando. I think you get there.
Alright. Try not to focus on it.
Distracted.
Well, no, I'm telling you, it was just like crazy because I'm like, I told her how to throw my fires. So, what about this investigation that like they found different things in her? That she met me before and I was all three. Someone else met me and I was Kanye. So there are personalities that I'm aware of. Like, one of the reports, they were asking about like the FBI talking to her when she always knew you at Albany. I'm like, what do you think about that? So I think that must be one of the person that wasn't Taylor. That's not me, the teaching it, so it just has to be one of the ones I either don't know about or here I just stayed out for minutes and hours. Because obviously a plane ride from Colorado to Orlando, 3 to 4 hours. So you gotta imagine what it's like. I did this before and ended up in Jamaica and my daughter been like, why are you in the middle of the ocean? Right? I also think that some of the part of like one of my personalities, which is me, is very polar. So I think you gotta factor in the manic part too, when I just don't hold it. There's what's going on around me. You know? So I've been asking myself this question for years. In places like schoolwork, and not even know that I did schoolwork. Like, wow, I did it. Oh, I thought I didn't do my homework and I didn't do it. Guess that came in handy for the fact that I didn't struggle with degrees, but I also don't remember a lot about doing it. So much of that going on, and I was living in with Chance died. That was the time I was a kid. It's just not been a very traumatic time.
So was other personalities doing some of the work
Right.
for your degree.
Right. Oh,
You hear her? You don't know when personalities is doing what they doing, y'all. You can't choose what personality does what psychologically. It'll just happen. You don't know. You don't know that the personality has taken control of your body. You don't know, but the other people know. Why is he sitting here wasting time? Some of these cases, I think they waste time.
absolutely.
But presumably when they would turn things in.
Right, but they know about me. That's always been it.
Yeah, I heard what she said. The personalities knows about Tisha. Tisha, you know what you did when you did it, because you wanted Gannon father for yourself, and you were being selfish, and you didn't want that his son around y'all due to his mental illnesses, and you was getting blamed for what he does. That's what it's all about. If you got rid of him, his daddy will believe everything you say. No, you don't know when you have multiple characteristics. No. Mental, voices. You don't know that. This is a game you playing.
I mean, like I tell the people in jail sometimes, like, they can call me what they want. But then Taylor, sometimes the deputies like will come by and be like saying her name, and I'm just like, that's what teacher's name. It was behind me. So it's just it's hard to like test people with it. Or someone else is going
Tisha trying to plead insanity, y'all. Come on. Tisha is trying. This is what they've been doing years ago, trying to please insanity. It's nothing wrong with Letecia. Now it's going to be something wrong with her because she don't have Gannon's father. She got rid of the boy, but she still don't have Gannon's father. Y'all got to understand that she don't have Gannon's father anymore. And that's what this all about. Gannon's father without his son, but her kids. This is your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. I'm gonna stop it right here. Cause when I hear Letecia voice and I hear what Letecia is doing, she's like to manipulate people. And I'm sick of it. She's not crazy. She has issues, but she's not crazy. This is your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.